Carrick doing some good work behind the scenes, and there's a bit more positivity inside Manchester United since Michael Carrick has come in, which is good to see. 3 wins in a row, the players doing well, Manchester United getting results, good vibes. But we cannot let these good vibes distract us from the fact that we've still got the same incompetent owners in charge of the club. It might be good vibes. There might be the positive PR reports and spin reports coming out about how fantastic everything is. And we're going to start on the positive. We're going to start with that news. But we've still got these ratty Glazers here. We've still got these ratty Glazers at the club. And they're voicing concerns about the club, but not the kind of concerns that we want our owners to be voicing. Joe and Abraham Glazer have some issues. They have some worries about some things. We'll talk about that. We'll go and rant about those Glazers. We're going to talk about the commercial impact, the revenue streams, Champions League football, the £100 million worth of sales, the wages saved that we have planned for the summer. We're going to talk about Maino Casemiro, that partnership, and again, more news linking Yan Diomande to Manchester United. We've also been linked to Adam Wharton again today, but talks of Adam Wharton being 83 million. Let me know down below, what would you value Wharton at? I think he's a £65 million player. But look, the market is inflated. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup show. If you're new to the channel, every single evening I do a 10-minute video for you guys, rounding up all the news. Let's get into it. So we are going to get into a rant in a second, but I wanted to start on a nice note, a positive note. Michael Carrick has been nominated for January Premier League Manager of the Month. I mean, he managed 2 games in the whole of January, but it was first and second place, and he beat them. So, you know what? He might have managed not many games, but to be fair, I mean, he probably deserves it when you look at who he beat, how he beat them, the form before. Fair enough. Samuel Luckhouse did a report about Carrick changing things and all of that, and I won't get into everything that he said, but the main takeaways I took from Samuel Luckhouse's report is that Carrick has imposed himself quickly as United head coach. He's made a good impression. The training days are shorter, but it's now more intense, it's more increased, and it's actually more specific. There's defenders working particularly with Woodgate and Evans. It's more specific to individuals, trying to improve individuals, whereas Amarin's training sessions were longer and it was all about his system and this and that and doing this and that. Carrick's is more shorter, more intense. Carrick would rather have shorter sessions, but the players give more, the players get more from it than longer sessions. He's going with the quality over quantity, and I quite like that approach, and it seems to be working. But Tottenham are our bogey team. Yes, we've won these first 3 games, but Tottenham are our bogey team. It's Manchester United. I feel like we can beat all the difficult teams and we'll just lose to a team in 14th, won't we? Who knows? I'm not trying to get carried away with Carrick because it's still very, very early, but a lot of positive signs. But let's talk about the Glazers. What a load of clowns. Now, the title of this video is currently, you won't believe what the Glazers have just said. But now thinking of it, I do believe that they said this. Like actually, maybe I need to change that title actually. Because I'm not even shocked by this. Both Avram and Joe Glazer have voiced their concerns internally at the commercial performance within Manchester United. Right, Avram, Joe. First of all, we've not been in the Champions League for 2 years. Second of all, we came 15th last season. Third of all, we're going to play 30 games this season because even though we weren't in Europe, we got knocked out of the cup competitions in the first round. Fourth of all, we lost to Grimsby this season. Now, if you were voicing concerns about the lack of consistency on the pitch, fine. Commercial performance. Because do you want to know something, Avram and Joel? Something that you should have known and realised years ago, and this is why you're silly billies, is that Manchester United's performances on the pitch, they impact our commercial performance. Because we're playing less games, because we're not in Europe, we're not going to be doing as well commercially, and we're not going to be making as much money. But you ignored that. Time and time and time again, you ignored the fact that the better we play on the pitch, the better we do off the pitch financially. But you ignored that. You ran this club down to the ground thinking it was sustainable because it was so big. And maybe it wasn't your fault. Maybe you believed your little friend Ed Woodward, who in 2014 boasted that United could do things in the transfer market that other clubs could dream of, and spoke about even though we aren't having a good season, because we make so much money commercially, we could bring in the Pogbas, the Di Marias, Ed Woodward was boasting basically that we could do amazing things because of how much money this club brings in commercially. All of a sudden, Manchester United, who was so much stronger than every other Premier League commercially, has fallen down the commercial table. Why is that? Because we've not had many seasons in the Champions League. We've not been very good. And all of a sudden, Man United cannot do these things that they used to be able to do in the transfer market because they are not doing this amazing commercial revenue that they used to be doing. And Manchester United ignored the issues on the pitch time and time again. Incompetent decision, awful transfer, employing awful people like Ed Woodward, who knew nothing about football, to kind of run the club. Then Richard Arnold, a rugby man, John Mercer spending 85 million on Anthony when Elise was recommended by the scouts for 35 million. He said no and got Anthony. You employed idiots. You stayed at the club. And all of a sudden, Man United aren't making as much commercially. And your concern again is, we're concerned Man United aren't making a bit of money commercially. We're concerned. You should be concerned with the performances on the pitch. Now, yes, they've been better the last 3 games, but Manchester United have not been good enough on the pitch for a very long time. That should be your concern, not the commercial side of things, because once we get our performances on the pitch much better, we'll be doing better commercially. Honestly, what a bunch of clowns. I cannot believe they're like thinking this and saying this, but I also can. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't believe it because it's so stupid. It's about, but then I can believe it because they are stupid. They are clowns. Anyway, Man United should have money to do stuff in the January window, especially in the summer window, especially if sales go to plan. And obviously, Ty Marshall did report this. We could pocket 100 million this summer. Højlund we're going to get 38 million for. Rashford we should get 30 million for, but who knows with Barcelona? That's 68 million. Onana, who knows? We just want him gone off the wage bill. Casemiro, we're saving 15 million in wages. Højlund, Rashford, and Casemiro themselves save us around 85 million when you include the wages and the fees and everything. Maguire could go, but I think we'll probably give him an extension on a lower wage. Onana, hopefully we can find a buyer for, could go. We could sell Agate as well. There should be around 100 million coming in for Manchester United this summer. Also, if we get UCL football, we get another 10 million. If we do not get UCL football, we lose 10 million. If we do not get UCL football, according to Athletic, we'll lose another 10 million. We've already lost 10 million commercially this season without UCL football. We lose another 10 million. But if we get UCL football, we get another 10 million from Adidas. So our commercial deal with Adidas, basically 10 million is the difference between UCL or not. So 100 million for sales, 10 million from Adidas, but also the 100 million extra, nearly it's like 80 something million from being in the Champions League itself. From sales, Champions League, Adidas, if we get Champions League football, we shouldn't have about 200 million, which is good. But if we miss out on UCL because there's an injury in midfield, we will look at the January transfer window and go, why did United do nothing? Now, United is saying, well, they did nothing in January because they're saving the fees to the summer because their main targets are available in the summer. And those targets are going to be expensive because there's reports of Adam Wharton being 83 million. Wharton is a major summer target and expected to be in high demand. Man United and Liverpool have opened talks over a possible move, but Palace have set an asking price of 83. So I kind of get maybe why we haven't done the January business. Baleba, Anderson, Wharton are all going to be around 80 million. We need 2 of them. We're looking at 160 million on midfield. And then I think we need a third midfielder that could be 30-ish million. So we're looking at 190 million on midfield alone, which is where the Champions League money, the sales money goes. And then that extra sort of 50-60 million that we've had for Semenyo, I guess we put on a winger and then just see what happens, I think, in defence. I think we probably need a left winger, see what happens with defensive depth and more. There's a lot of people saying we should bring in another striker to support Sesko. Considering Cunha and Bumo can play that, I'm not bothered about a striker this summer. In terms of other news stories, Stephen Railson said that Kobbie Mainoo has benefited from rekindling his relationship with Casemiro, and a source has admitted that Mainoo loves playing with Casemiro, vice versa, that they enjoy playing together. And Ty Marshall again came out and said that United are closely monitoring Yan Diomande. RB Leipzig value him around 100 million euros, but a fee is expected to be lower than that in the summer. Man United, Liverpool, PSG and Tottenham are all interested in Yan Diomande, and that could be one to watch in the summer in terms of left wingers. We know we want Anderson, Wharton, Baleba. Yan Diomande is now being linked They are the transfers to watch ahead of the summer, but that is a few months away. That is 3 months away, really, until we get into Man United might start doing business territory. But anyway, that is your 10-minute news roundup. Thank you for watching. Bye.